In a world that constantly bombards men with cheap dopamine hits and low-quality temptations, the ancient discipline of semen retention has resurfaced as a spiritual and biological weapon of self-mastery and masculine power. Yet one of the most overlooked and uncomfortable aspects of this journey is the relationship between semen retention and ugly women. By ugly, we are not just speaking of facial structure or bone symmetry. We are speaking of the energetic weight, the psychological drain. It's the internal repulsion that many men feel but ignore when they sleep with women they are not truly attracted to or aligned with. Every time you release your seed, especially with a woman you do not respect or admire, you are literally handing over your life force to someone who does not deserve it. While the physical act may bring temporary pleasure, the spiritual and energetic consequences linger long after the orgasm fades. This is where most men remain trapped in a cycle of regret, low self-worth, and emotional exhaustion. No matter how much you try to convince yourself that it was just a casual fling or a one-night stand, your subconscious knows that you have betrayed your own standards. That inner knowing eats away at your masculine core over time. When you retain your seed, you retain your clarity, your fire, your ability to choose with discernment. One of the most powerful yet painful awakenings on this path is realizing how many of your past sexual encounters were not driven by love or desire, but by loneliness, boredom, and a desperate need for validation. It is often the most energetically unattractive women who exploit this weakness. They see the hunger in your eyes, the lack of boundaries, the craving for touch, and they offer themselves not as vessels of beauty and growth, but as traps disguised in the skin of easy access. The more you give in, the more your spirit begins to dim, till one day, you wake up and no longer recognize the man in the mirror. You begin to question your confidence, your motivation, your will to strive. You do not even realize that what is draining you is not just porn or casual sex, but the specific energy exchange with women who leave you feeling emptier than before. Make no mistake, energy is real. Your seed is not just fluid, it is concentrated creative life force. When you pour it into women who carry bitterness, trauma, low self-esteem, or emotional chaos, you absorb that into your own field as well. This is why after sleeping with certain women, you do not feel empowered, feel used, confused, foggy, or even depressed. It is not just chemistry, it is energetic contamination. When you practice semen retention, you start to become highly sensitive to this. You start to notice how certain women, despite appearing available or eager, have an aura that screams misalignment. The old version of you would have ignored that, would have silenced your intuition for a night of mediocre intimacy. But the man you are becoming can no longer afford that compromise. This is where the discipline becomes real. Semen retention is not about impressing people online or joining a trend. It is about reclaiming your masculine throne. You cannot sit on that throne. If you keep giving your crown away to women you would not even want to be seen with in daylight. We need to be honest with ourselves. Many men lower their standards not because they cannot do better, but because they lack the patience and the self-belief to wait for better. That impatience is what leads them to sleep with women they are not proud of. Every time they do that, they are reinforcing the belief that they are not worthy of greatness. Ugly women in this context are symbolic of low-frequency choices. They represent the inner voice that says, just take what you can get. Stop being picky. This is all you deserve. That voice is the enemy of your evolution. It wants you to stay average. It wants you to stay addicted to instant gratification. It wants you to keep leaking your energy to anyone who is willing to take it. When you retain your semen, that voice starts to weaken. We're no longer feeding it. We're no longer negotiating with mediocrity. As your energy builds, your standards rise. It's not just in women, but in life. You no longer tolerate low-effort friendships, uninspired routines, or meaningless goals. That shift begins with discipline. In the bedroom, wherever you feel tempted the most. Let us be real here. We live in a world that has normalized low standards. People laugh at men who say no to sex. They mock men who value their seed. They call it toxic. They say you are insecure or afraid of women. Yet these are the same people who live in cycles of dysfunction, regret, and spiritual fatigue. Your semen is your power. Your power is not for everyone, especially not for women who cannot elevate you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or physically. The irony is that when you stop giving your energy to ugly women, your entire aura changes. You start to glow, your eyes sharpen, your posture straightens. Suddenly, the high-quality women you once thought were out of your league begin to notice you. They feel your presence because you have stopped leaking your essence on women you were never meant to engage with in the first place. This is not about shaming women. This is about men taking responsibility for their choices and understanding the spiritual economics of sex. Every time you sleep with a woman, you form a bond. If that bond is rooted in lust and self-betrayal, you will pay the price through anxiety, confusion, low motivation, and even health issues. Your body keeps the score. The longer you stay in that cycle, the more your dreams begin to fade. So you must decide. What kind of man are you becoming? Are you the man who chases momentary pleasure with women who repel your spirit? Or are you the man who protects his energy and waits for a woman who amplifies his purpose? Not every woman can do that. Some women drain you simply by being near you, because their energy is so heavy, so broken, so filled with unresolved wounds that they pull your vibration down to match theirs. That is not judgment. That is discernment. In the age of retention, discernment is everything. It is your compass, your armor, your sword. When you ignore it, you pay. One of the most dangerous habits that many men have is pretending they are unaffected. They say things like, "I do not care. It was just for fun. She was not even that bad." But deep down, they know they are lying to themselves, as they feel it in their chest, in their soul, in their dreams. They try to cover it up with more distractions, more hookups, more noise. But the truth keeps whispering louder with every encounter. You are giving your kingdom to a peasant. You are offering your temple to someone who would not even honor your presence if you had nothing to offer her. When you begin to take semen retention seriously, you stop allowing women who do not match your standard to access your body, your energy, your time, and your future. That shift is not always easy. Temptation is everywhere. But what is even more powerful than temptation is vision. If your vision is clear, your standards must match it. That includes the women you allow into your life. More importantly, the women you choose to share your seed with, because your seed is not just yours. It is connected to your destiny, your legacy, your clarity. The more you waste it on women who you are not energetically aligned with, the more you delay your own evolution. This is the secret that no one talks about, because it is uncomfortable. It challenges the culture. It threatens the system. It calls men to a higher level of awareness. That awareness is the key to everything you want. Confidence, focus, money, power, presence. It all begins with energy management. Energy is most sacred at the sexual level. That is why it is targeted, is why it is mocked. That is why it is constantly being drained through media, porn, hookup culture, and shame. Once you become aware of that game, you can choose to exit it, not with bitterness, not with hate, but with clarity and purpose. When you begin walking this path with clarity and purpose, the world starts to respond differently to you. You no longer move through life like a man chasing scraps. You walk like a king guarding a vault. And that vault is your essence, your focus, your divine energy. That is why semen retention is more than just a physical discipline. It is a spiritual revolution. It is a rebellion against mediocrity, against weak impulses, against the lie that you must give yourself to any woman who shows interest. You begin to notice that the quality of your life improves, not just because you are holding in your seed, but because you are raising your standard across every area. You're becoming selective. You are becoming intentional. You are no longer a slave to lust. You are a master of your energy. And in this journey, you must remember that women can either be mirrors or masks. A mirror reflects your worth. A mask hides your pain. Ugly women in this context are often masks. They mask your loneliness. They mask your fear of being alone. They mask your lack of self-love. You go to them not because they nourish your soul, but because they fill a temporary void. But the void always returns. It grows louder. It haunts you in silence. And the more you feed it with low-value encounters, the more it consumes you from within. This is the real energy drain no one talks about. Not just the act of ejaculation, but the act of exchanging your divine force with women who drain instead of elevate. At this point in your journey, if you are serious about becoming the highest version of yourself, then I invite you to go deeper. If you are looking for a tribe of like-minded warriors on this same path, men who are focused on mastery, purpose, and energy sovereignty, then join the Telegram channel. The link is in the description below. That is where we go unfiltered. That is where we speak the truths that the mainstream fears. That is where you will be reminded that you are not alone in this fight. You will see brothers winning. You will see brothers falling and rising. You will see the real journey. No filters, no shame, just truth. Now coming back, you must start asking yourself deeper questions. Why do you tolerate the presence of women who make you feel worse after being with them? Why do you settle for attention instead of real affection? Why do you trade your soul for skin that does not stir your heart? These are not just surface issues. These are wounds that stem from childhood, from programming, from broken masculine role models. But now you have the opportunity to break the cycle. To choose sacred over shallow. To choose presence over pleasure. To choose alignment over addiction. Every time you say no to an encounter that does not feel right, you are building your masculine muscle. Every time you walk away from a woman who is physically available but spiritually bankrupt, you are reclaiming your inner king, and it is not always easy. There will be nights when your body screams for release. There will be days when your old habits tempt you like ghosts from the past. But if you hold the line, if you remember why you started, if you see the bigger picture, then you will rise above the noise. You will rise above the patterns, and what you will gain is beyond imagination. You will gain the respect of your future self. You will gain the magnetism that comes from inner alignment. You will gain the clarity to know who is truly worthy of your time, your energy, your attention. And most of all, you will gain your power back. Semen retention is not just a lifestyle. It is a weapon. It is a tool for spiritual warfare. It is a discipline that separates men who settle from men who build empires. And empires are not built on shaky foundations. They are built on focus. They are built on honor. They are built on integrity. When you release your seed into women who are not worthy, you are laying bricks with broken hands. But when you reserve it for the sacred, for the aligned, for the divine feminine who matches your frequency, then you are building a fortress that no storm can shake. And let us not pretend that this message is popular. It is not. The world does not want powerful men. The world wants compliant consumers. Men who are addicted, distracted, emasculated. But when you hold your seed, you exit that system. You step into sovereignty. Stop needing validation from women who do not even respect themselves. You stop being impressed by outer beauty that hides inner rot. You stop falling for the illusion. You see the truth. The truth will set you free. But first, it will demand your discipline. It will test you. It will expose every weakness you have hidden beneath the surface. And that is good, because only in fire can steel be forged. You are being forged right now. Every day you say no to temptation is a hammer strike, shaping your character. Every day you walk away from ugly energy is a polish on your crown. Every day you choose purpose over pleasure is a seed planted in the soil of greatness. And those seeds will grow. They will bloom into clarity, into strength, into wealth, into love that uplifts rather than drains, into a life that reflects the king you are becoming. But it all starts here. It starts with the simple yet powerful choice to no longer give your energy to ugly women. Ugly in vibration. Ugly in attitude. Ugly in alignment. Because your seed is sacred. And if you continue giving it to women who lower your frequency, you will stay trapped in the same cycles. You will keep chasing ghosts. You will keep feeling hollow. But if you rise, if you choose differently, if you walk with awareness, then your whole life will change. You will no longer seek. You will attract. You will no longer chase. You will command. You will no longer shrink. You will expand. That is what semen retention offers. Not just physical benefits, but a reprogramming of your entire operating system. It resets your instincts. It sharpens your mind. It aligns your decisions with your destiny. And in a world full of chaos and confusion, that clarity is priceless. So stand tall, protect your essence, guard your temple. Know that every drop of your seed is life. Do not spill it for temporary validation. Do not trade it for access to women who cannot even see your soul. We're not here to be drained. You are here to build. You are here to lead. You are here to evolve. And if this message resonated with you, if it stirred something within you, then I ask one simple thing. Consider contributing to this mission using the thanks button below.
Every contribution, big or small, helps spread this message to more men who need to hear it. Men who are lost in cycles of lust and regret.
Men who need a reminder that they are not alone. Men who are ready to rise. Regret So if you found value in these words, please take a moment to support. It truly makes a difference. And remember, retention is not just about holding in your semen. It is about holding on to your destiny. Honor it, protect it, live it.